Hi, it's Bruce. It's Sunday, October 4th, and it's been a very busy week, and I have to talk about a lot, so I have to rush ahead. But first, I did want to say that last night I was invited to a memorial for our friend Mason Wiley, who wrote the book Inside Oscar and was a very dear friend of Bill and mine. And if you don't have Inside Oscar, it covers the history of the Oscars up until 1995, and it's very thorough. It covers every opening night. It covers all the nominations and how they got nominated. It's a wonderful book, and unfortunately Mason died about 15 years ago in the AIDS crisis, and reliving a lot of what Mason meant to us last night was really wonderful. I highly recommend Inside Oscar, and there's a sequel by his partner Damien Bona. Mason wrote the Inside Oscar with Damien Bona, and Damien covers the next 5 years, 1995 to 2000, in Inside Oscar 2. Mason, we still love you, and you're well remembered. Okay. I saw 4 plays this last week, so we got to breeze right along here because of our YouTube limitations on time. The first one I'll talk about is what we saw last Sunday, The Royal Family by Kaufman and Ferber. It's an old comedy war horse. It's about of an acting family of many generations, not unlike the Barrymores, in fact, very much like the Barrymores. The cast is incredible. It's John Glover, Rosemary Harris, Anna Gasteyer, Jan Maxwell, Tony Roberts, and Reg Rogers. Standout here, it starts a little slow like these things do, but it picks up, and Act 2 is just a scream. Jan Maxwell, she might get the Best Actress Tony for this already. I know it's really early in the season, but she's definitely up there. Rosemary Harris plays the doyenne of the family, the older Ethel Barrymore kind of actress. And in the revival many years ago, the Alice Rabb revival, which I adored, Rosemary Harris played the younger daughter. So it's wonderful to see her span the generation herself. It's hysterical. Reg Rogers is a John Barrymore kind of character. He's hysterical. It's just got a ton of laughs. It's got a great set. It's got a great cast. What's not to like here? Go see The Royal Family. Okay, I went out on a Wednesday night. For those of you who know me, you know I don't hit the weeknights too much unless there's a 7 o'clock curtain, and there was a 7 o'clock curtain on Wednesday for Carrie Fisher's Wishful Drinking. For those of you who know Carrie and love her as Princess Leia, or from some of her other film roles, or have read any of her books, most notably Postcards from the Edge, which she wrote the screenplay for. This is an evening of Carrie talking to the audience about her parents, Debbie Reynolds and Eddie Fisher, her drinking, her drugs, her invitation to the mental institution, and as she says, this would be a tragedy, but she's turning it into a comedy, because if you can't laugh at it, it's just going to do you in. This may not be for everyone. It's 2 hours and has 1 intermission. Carrie sings at the beginning and at the end, and I just thought she wasn't that bad of a singer. She's not great, but I was surprised she carries a tune there. And then I found out during the course that she actually would perform with her mother, Debbie Reynolds. There's great stories about Debbie Reynolds and Eddie Fisher, and if you want to hear some Hollywood backstory and some things about George Lucas and the making of Star Wars, this is a pretty funny evening. But as I said, it's not for everyone. You have to tolerate hearing a lot about people who have overdosed and drunk too much. I was born in the 40s, and I lived through the 60s and the 70s, and I've done my share of a few things. So it was fun to see some of us come through laughing about it. I didn't do everything that Carrie did, and I was never in a mental institution, although some people say I might be. All right, wishful drinking, another great thing here on Broadway. Talking about going out on weeknights, which I don't do, someone offered me a ticket to Jude Law in Hamlet on Thursday night, starting at 7:30 and ending around 11. I took it because I saved money on a ticket and I got to see Jude Law. I'm mixed about this, but I'm not mixed about Jude Law. Jude Law I thought was phenomenal. I thought he was really good. I was a little bit not enamored of some of his audience, who seemed to giggle every time a famous line, a giggle of recognition every time a famous line was used, like, "Get thee to a nunnery." To be or not to be. People just like, "Oh, I know that. That's famous. I know Shakespeare." The production was okay, and Gertrude and King Claudius, they grew on me in the second act, and I liked Horatio, but it wasn't as good of a production as maybe the Ralph Fiennes. However, I love Jude Law, and I'll tell you, his sword fight fencing scene at the end, I thought I was watching a John Barrymore on stage. Jude Law's excellent. If you want to see Jude Law and you can tolerate some people giggling because of famous lines, and you can spend over 3 hours, it's worth it if you want to see Jude Law. Other than that, I can't praise it that highly as a production. And the last thing I saw was Friday night. I went out Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. How do you like that? I had the memorial dinner last night. And I'm alive. We went to see Judas and Me, which was at the NIM Festival, written by two great people who are acquaintances of mine, Chad Begelin and Matthew Sklar. Matthew does the music and Chad does book and lyrics. And this is sort of a comic romp of Judas Iscariot's mother. I don't want to tell too much of it. In fact, by the time this blog goes up online, I think Judas and Me will no longer be playing in the NIM Festival, because I think we saw it, I think there was only a few more performances after we saw it. It had a great cast, Nick Blameyer and Ann Harada and Doug Krieger and Leslie Kritzer, Nikki Snelson, who's a friend of ours, and Jennifer Laura Thompson and Barbara Walsh. I mean, it was a really great cast. Barbara Walsh plays Judas's mother. Nick plays Judas. Doug Krieger plays Jesus. And Jennifer Laura Thompson plays Mary. It's sort of a kind of a wicked thing, where, here's the backstory on what really happened between the little jealousy going on between Judas's mother and Jesus's mother. And a lot of it's quite clever. It's a great cast. I love the music. I don't know what's going to happen to it. I think they'll probably tinker with it some more and see what happens. But that's what NIM's all about. And I really did love the music and lyrics. The cast is hysterical. I especially loved Jennifer Laura Thompson's Mary. Had a little Kristen Chenoweth going on in there, I think. So I had a really enjoyable week. Let's see what comes up next week. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you later.